Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Boneyard Podcast. We have two guests here. We got Colonel Cockface and Past Starman. They have been previously on the Boneyard Podcast before. Love these guys. Got some hot shit to talk about this week, guys. A lot of crazy shit happening in Foxhole that never seen before. So, anyway, I'll let these guys introduce each other. Also, I should introduce myself. I'm Big Bear Berg. Yeah, here we go. We can start with you guys.
What was that for an introduction? You big bird, that's it, man? Come on. Alright, Colonel Cockface,
That's
16.5
all I
years
am,
in the
big.
game. Sorry, yeah, okay. 16.5 years in the game, lead a regiment, and also help lead a coalition. And yeah, done everything there's to see, and seen everything there's to see, pretty much. Alright, Passman.
Okay. Past Starman. I'm from Noble. I'm one of the commanders of Noble. Been a part of the Collies. I was a Collie loyalist. Been a Warden loyalist. Currently a Warden loyalist. I've been playing for around 4 years.
That's great, man. That's great, dude, because that makes you a newt, technically, right? So you know a little bit of. It gives you a bold perspective. That's great, man.
Yeah, I've been a part of both, so it does give a little bit perspective on that. Some
Yeah,
people
dude.
have just never been to the opposite side.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it's mandatory to play both sides, but I do think you are missing half the game if you don't. I think that's always really good. Yeah, dude. So I'm gonna just start off with the hottest topic I got, and I think everyone is curious to talk about it, and it's what's been driving on my mind. Robert's video yesterday touched a lot of people. I mean, it made Cockface drop out his high school fucking senior prom pics yesterday. His high school prom pics from Foxhole. So we got some hot shit to talk about, dude. Um, I would just say I'm not surprised. This has been a trend going on for a minute. A lot of people are sitting there saying, stop dooming, stop doing all this. A lot of people have said the game's dead before and it's come back even stronger. The trend was doing really well for a long time, but I can tell you the feeling as a player has been getting worse and worse and worse over the years. And I'm very not surprised to see in the state that we're in. I do want to start off and say I think the devs have a very good game. I think the biggest issue right now is communication. I think that is the ultimate biggest breakdown in all of this. And I am very curious what you guys think of Foxhole dying or being dead. Um, I just want to state my claim out first. I really think it is due to four main reasons. I think it's a lack of communication between players and developers. I don't think there's a clear line. And we talked about this 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now. I really think the best thing moving forward, the first thing they should do is get a community manager to do player outreach and player management. I don't think we can move forward anymore with this disconnect between player and dev. It's horrible. It's creating toxicity and it's creating a lot of not good LARP between players, and it's just not very it's not a very good place. Two, I think us as players, kind of diving into this, are more toxic than ever. And I think that's both sides. And I don't think it's for a good reason. I don't think it's very good for the community. And I don't think it's good for players to come see us. New players to come see the way we are.
Whatever the fuck this is, and they're like,
yeah,
nah.
Yeah.
it's fucked, and it's not good. Like, I remember Foxhole used to be a really cool community, and now it's a fucking cesspit, dude. It's nasty, and I think that's something we need to look at ourselves and address. The third thing that I've been thinking about is how slow things are to be moved and fixed. whether that's due to technical issues on their end or whether it's due to they want to see and test things out to see how things or how much we have to bitch before things get changed. The lack of time between each thing is very bad. And then the fourth thing that I think that is coming to be a generalized issue is our time is not being very well respected, and I don't think a lot of things are very fun in the game, and a lot of them are just fillers and time wasters that no one appreciates, and there's a lot of quality of life that can be addressed to fix this. And I think if those four things got solved, and I'll be honest and say you didn't ever hear me say balance in that. If those four things got fucking solved in the next month, player retention would be way better. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about what I've just said, which I know is a mouthful. It's 4 points to talk about. But just as a general overlook, do you guys agree or disagree with my statement? Because I'll even give you guys a little hint. I messaged some devs to try to get them on the podcast because it's kind of urgent. I don't know how it'll work. If I could get a dev on here.
Do you actually think they'll respond?
I don't think... I put it this way. What do they have to fucking lose at this point?
Yeah, but I mean, I'd rather scratch a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You can't win the lottery if you don't play the lottery.
True. There's nothing lost just by messaging a dev. I feel like hundreds of folks have done it already.
Sure. But
They
you never
just
know.
ignore. Who knows?
Maybe I can get lucky.
I mean,
At
you know,
least... No, Cock. You go first.
all right. So what I wanted to say is that there's an argument to be made about the people who said, oh, but people said 5 years ago that the game was dying. People said all the time that the game is dying. But the difference between now and then is that now the map is substantially bigger. You need a lot more people to actually keep the shard alive than compared to before. Things are a lot more complicated as well. You need a lot more people to do a simple thing, right? And it also feels a lot more deader than it ever was. For those who have been around for years and years, right? They will have known how people were still putting hopes on the next update, or like stuff wasn't as bad, right? People, for the most part, will agree that stuff went downhill with the Inferno update, and it just got worse and worse since then. 1.0 really, and it's just a death spiral, which makes people think, okay, so we've got the finally long-awaited Airborne. What now? What is there even left? Right? Like, this game is in this state right now. We've come to this point. This is like, it really feels deader than ever before, right? As someone who's been here for years, it's not just like a saying people say. It's like really feels that way. There's something different this time about it.
Mhm.
So I mean, Salman.
Well, at least I agree with that. I do feel like the map is a lot larger. Like one of the biggest issues I was talking about it even today with someone else is just like you have a larger map, but at the same time you like you mentioned too, you have a whole bunch more stuff to do in the map. So like if you're a larger regiment, you want to do airborne, so now you're having to build a whole entire facility towards that. Then you gotta cater towards naval, you gotta cater towards infantry and tanks, you gotta cater towards the builders, the M subs for all this. So I think they add a lot more depth to the game. They didn't, I don't think, on the back end think about everything that's required to do this because the facility loop in this game is awful. Like the reality I've seen always from the day facilities came out is that like facility leads in this game, they get burned out. It's dumb and builders get burned out super quick because it's a whole bunch of time being put into stuff, a whole bunch of MSUPs, and then often there's not a lot gained for them. There might be stuff for the regiment, but overall for everybody, like and the issue I've had, at least like with facility leads in my regiment, is the exact same thing. You're asking a guys to put a lot of amount of effort, hundreds amount of effort,
The second job.
hundreds of hours. Yeah, it's a second job, 10 hours a day, every day, and then the expectation is war resets. Let's come back and do it again. Like it's not necessarily a healthy cycle, and then you don't have time between the wars. you have constant wars. So it's really requirement upon your community. And this is one thing I've always felt in Foxhole, that the longevity of a player is highly dependent on how their community is and how they interacts. Because if it's
Yeah.
not a really good community and they don't respect like the time of their players, the burnout is crazy. You see discords with 2, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 players, but you see the retention, and 90% of those players are just not playing anymore. At least for me,
It's
it's a loop. It's like how every Reggie lead or every recruiter feels in Foxholes. It's like I gotta recruit 100 players, but I'm under the reality that only 10 of these guys are really gonna last like a year, and then maybe 5 years, only like two of them are gonna last if they
the
even
player
stay that long.
retention is player retention so low, mate. It's so fucking low.
And it's getting
It's
worse.
it's getting worse. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, all the people I've seen over the years, man, I think, like you said, only like two of them actually stuck around.
yeah. I feel like Foxhole used to be a lot more simpler, especially like prior to
Oh yeah,
facilities, and then even when facilities first got introduced, very simple tasks. But now, like you look, graph is here. So like for 11E, the amount of work uh, all the guys in the regiment have to do just to upkeep for like a mid or a larger tier regiment, just to upkeep that stuff is just burning through players. And I feel like all of the larger regiments and all the mid tier regiments in terms of like size, they feel that the most. For smaller regiments, it's a terrible cycle because most of them I feel like they play and then they get burned out and either the regiment just doesn't get past that
Well,
point and dies
and to
and
add to
then it goes
that,
to someone else.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but to add to that, even for smaller player and smaller regiments, they're not even getting to play with 2/3 of the game. Like, let's be
Yeah,
honest, they're not even getting to play with the cool
yeah.
toys at the end of the facility bullshit.
yeah.
And not even to mention, like, facility men, I understand as well. But another set that I was talking to my buddy right before on my drive home, I was talking about, imagine being a builder right now. God save those motherfuckers. You know
Oh,
what I
it's
mean?
disgusting.
Fuck me. I'm a builder, dude. Thank God I'm not fucking playing. Like, fuck me, dude. Being a builder right now, talk about your time being fucking wasted. Like, facility, you make a BT and it goes die in fucking 2 minutes. Say goodbye to your fucking tier 2 shit you just spent 4 hours on, fuckface. Like, bro,
Yeah.
it's so bad, dude. And I agree with you guys. Like, and here's the thing: is we can bitch about things and whatnot. Here's what I think is what's really killing players. It is, and I'm not saying you're bitching. I'm bitching, but
Oh.
all right, y'all are being a little bitch. No, I'm just playing. But um, but seriously though, here's the issue though, is what I see is if you guys seriously had these complaints, you have nowhere to really talk about it to a dev or anyone that would ever make a fucking change. If you did make that comment in Reddit or FOD, you are going to get gaslit to mock fuck. And you're going to
Yes.
feel fucking like in a helpless loop. There's going to be no help, no support. Get fucked, get better, skill issue, hashtag flank, bro.
Yeah.
Hashtag skill issue. That's literally what you're going to be told. Outproduce them. And that's seriously where the issue lies in and of itself of the game. No matter which issue, you go balance, fucking player retention, any segment in the game. No matter what it is, you have an issue with it. There's no support, no way to talk about it. You find one place to talk about it, which is a cesspool, and then you get turned down and made fun of. I'm going to a different fucking game. That's
Yeah.
the roller coaster we're on. You're better
One
talking
thing.
to a brick wall, bro.
Starman, what's your opinion on the current balance and the current state of things, considering that you were a colonial and a warden?
So one thing to add about what Bear said is I do thoroughly agree with that sentiment because it's something I said last time with okay, like the devs do something, right? And we're not even gonna talk about Reddit and FOD, which obviously cesspools, but if the devs do something and they inherently understand that it's broken, and I mentioned last time I was on here, like storm cannons, The problem I have with the way the devs operate is that they will know something is broken, but the players have to endure it until the devs eventually fix it. And while I understand patches need to happen and they don't want to interrupt wars and things like that, my issue is you're forcing the player base for weeks or months to often live with the issues of the
That's
game.
Oh
that's what I
yeah.
was saying. And
Like bombers,
that first point I
like
was just making earlier, I 100% agree with what you're
yeah,
saying. The intervals between fixes is way too fucking long. It's
and
If if at least you knew, look, this is gonna be fixed at that time of at that time, you know, like
lack of communication.
yeah,
Like I'm, dude. We're gonna go in a vicious cycle because it's 100%. It goes back to those 4 points I made, and we even talked a little bit about this on our last podcast with all of us together. It all comes down to
the one
what?
that shall not be named.
Yeah. One shall not speak his name. Fuck. But no,
but
seriously, it comes down to they need a community manager, bro. Like,
yeah,
fucking, it sounds really bad, but really what it comes down to is we need fucking affirmation that shit's being at least seen that it's fucked. Like that it's almost like we're fucking crazy and we need to make sure that we're not fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? We're just sitting
yeah,
there
no, no.
rocking in our fucking chairs going, this is fucking broken. How are they not seeing this?
And
Hopefully,
so
we're praying that they do.
and
We don't know,
sometimes they
though.
do see it.
And that's the
Like
thing, but they don't tell
like
us.
like 18
Mother.
pillboxes with 20 mil. I literally said storm cannons and 20 mil pissed me off the most because they admitted it was broken. They nerfed it into the ground until it was unviable across the board. And now the entire player base had to suffer until they decided all the way up into airborne for months on months that it was going to be viable. So we basically, as wardens and colonials, both have 20 mils too, just couldn't use the weapon type. It was just useless. And that's the issue that you have for a lot of the times where you have broken things in this game and they are just not touched for until the devs decide we need to retouch this because we have bigger intentions or bigger focus. So now, okay, we admit that 20 mil is broken, but it's just going to continue to be broken. Oh, we're going to change it to 30 mil now in the AT pill boxes, but your 20 mil gun, this suck it. Just suck it. You're going to have to deal with it. It's not going to be used anymore. And it's like it's a terrible loop for this game in total because now you have, I would say, probably dozens of pieces of equipment across the board that no one uses. The Highwayman, a niche tank previously, no one touches the Highwayman. You see a Highwayman, you call him a LARPer.
I mean, the only time I see the Highwayman is like as ultimate anti-infantry weapon, where it mows
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
down with the 20 mil and the MG.
You know what
yeah.
I
But
saw? You know what I saw the other day, boys? I saw the Colonial 20 mil armored car. I saw one. Believe it or
Yeah.
not. It was a fucking relic. Dude, I took a
Like, you
screenshot
mean
of that
ATAC,
motherfucker.
right?
Yeah, the ATAC. Dude, I took a screenshot of it. It was a mystical
Yeah.
creature I haven't seen
Was it
in
was it was
months.
it PTs in there or what?
100. It was a sergeant and a fucking. It was a sergeant and the one above that. What's that fucking
Like
called?
this is like probably the highest thing they can build in the
100%, dude. 100%. I
al-
think they still.
also,
I think they just made it at someone's public thing. If someone saw them make that or
Yeah.
asked them to make it, they would have been like, "Don't do this, dude. Don't do that to yourself." But
so
oh
one thing
man,
I
I
wanted
don't think there was
to,
anyone online to tell them.
no, 100%. That was 100% a sergeant and a fucking like colonel, not colonel. What's the one? Corporal. It was corporal and a sergeant. They got together and like, this shit's gonna be hot, bro. We're gonna go kill some shit, and then yeah, bro, they didn't last a long time.
One shotted.
Nah.
one thing I wanted to mention because Cockface mentioned it, because he asked a question slightly about balance, at least from my perspective. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go into specifics things because that always gets like heated. But
Oh,
my one thing with balance, I feel like at least now as a warden, that I feel is that it's very difficult to at least say our side in things that we may have concerns about in terms of balance, because we're currently on the more of the win streak within the last like 20 wars, so we can't necessarily have an opinion on things. And the issue is you go to Reddit or you go to FOD, and the first thing you get is just like yada 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 about the scout plane or something like that, or the sniper rifle. And I'm like, we have concerns too. And I'm not saying people are toxic, not toxic on our side. And the same thing with the colonials. But at least previously, I felt like maybe years ago, it was at least viable to have some conversations. But at least now, the current way it is, the conversations that are currently being had and what the devs are mostly saying on Reddit or FOD, they're not productive conversations. Because the reality is, if I'm a warden and I want to talk about my concern about this specific piece of equipment, is going to get drowned out by just something else that I might consider utter nonsense. And other things that might be considered viable, but just nothing that's on topic. And is this
I've-
difficult to have these conversations at this point, like honest conversations about like can we have balanced equipment? And I feel like a perfect example is a torp bomber. You will find almost everybody saying, okay, it is overpowered, it's oppressive. We saw the video on
yeah.
Reddit where it just nuked that fucking BS, the battleship.
Bro,
But
imagine spending days of your life making that battleship. Though.
yeah, no, I agree,
The
and that's the
funniest
thing.
fucking thing ever, dude.
We can't have that agreement on saying this is something we need to talk about, but at the same time, there's things that wardens also feel too, like, and it always drowns out the conversation because if I ever bring up the Lunaire as a concern, for example, or the Nemesis as concerns for me when I'm fighting, because I fight mostly on the ground, so the Nemesis is something I view as an overpowered tank in comparison to what I have in my lineup. People can have agreements or disagreements about that, but that's again, that's just an opinion. And the same thing as a builder, because I was a builder before everything. The Lunaire was something very difficult to build around because of its range. So as a builder versus, let's say, when I was a colonial and the thing I had to prep for most is like 250 mil, the Cutler wasn't really a concern for me back then. But the Lunaire is just something I can't necessarily counter. It has a 31-meter range. So at peak night, it's just like suck it. Like
Past.
you,
Can
you
I
bring,
can I ask you something though?
yeah.
This is something that eats me alive, and I'm curious what your thought process on it is. Do you think the poly is good?
I think the poly is overpowered and underpowered. It depends on the circumstance. The E is a really good equipment on flat ground, but when it comes to hills, I've been in certain circumstances, like in War 117, where I was on a hill in the moors, and it is the most annoying fucking equipment to deal with when it's on a hill. But when it's not on a hill, obviously, as an outlaw, if you're smart, you can poke and prod it, and you can just kill it without it ever being able to shoot back. But when it's
No,
not on a hill,
if you sit
it's
at
just
max
like you
range
suck
with
it.
the outlaw, if you sit at max range with the outlaw, you don't even need to go back. You can just shoot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you could just poke it while even moving. And that's why I said like it's good and bad. When you're fighting uphill, like if you're in Alit's Blight, that hill, that relic that's south of Scurvyshire, I forget the name of it, is Homesick. That is a nasty ass hill with a poly on it. There's
But
some in the moors.
That
Uh,
depends if the polybolos even gets ammo, right? Because it's separate ammo type. That's not used for anything else in the game for us.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like it could be good in circumstances and then it cannot be good in other circumstances. And it's a weird piece of equipment because at times when I'm on a hill, I would love it. And trust and believe me, when I was a Kali, I definitely loved it when it was on the hills. But when it's on the straight ground, I understand if there's an outlaw there, I'm just like, okay, I gotta suck it up. Like he if he's smart, then he can just murk me. And that's just my opinion on it.
So,
I mean, you really do feel like an NPC in that moment.
my thing is, and what I always talked about, and these are things that I talk about in balance a lot of times. Is if you were a warden and you were placing down a bunker, and like I'm talking pre airplanes, right? Airplanes literally skew every conversation. Uh, every conversation about balance. Airplanes fucking skew it all. I can't talk about airplane balance because it's fucking nuts.
Mhm.
Pre-airplane, um, like I would arguably say, like when you're going to set up a bunker base, it would everyone in my opinion that I know of on the Collie side would always prefer an EAT over a poly. It's just so
Mhm.
circumstantial for polys to
Yeah.
be a really good position. And I do agree when you're on an uphill position or you can shroud it by something. I've seen polys kill super heavies, but it's so rare to get them in those circumstances versus like a general all-rounder like 68 you can just throw in a fucking octagon and have instant hit reg. These are the small things I think people love to just overlook when you're talking about death by 1,000 cuts, and it goes both
Yeah.
ways. And I think these are things that I personally like looking at when you're talking about balance, because like as much as people fucking hate to talk about it, I think like tanks in general are actually relatively bullshit all around. A lot of them are really strong, really good. Relatively, it's one of the most balanced areas in the game, in my opinion, and it's all
Relatively, yeah, I
opinionative.
mean, yeah.
It's all
Like
opinionative.
really relatively, right? But it's like it's all right.
There are certain things that are outliers, right? Like, and that's fine. But there are certain things that it's at least decent enough to be playable. You know what I mean? It's not an unplayable state.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's just so many things that are like so blatantly like what the hell's going on, like that I just don't understand what we're doing. And that's when, and I really I have a lot more shit to talk about before, and I don't even really want to get into balance, but just going into it, I think those type of debates are good faith debates, and I think those are debates that people don't have. People literally would rather smash their head into a fucking wall over Lanier and Cutler and Outlaw versus Spatha. It's like the most dumb fucking conversations that I hate having. And it literally, like, it gives me a headache, dude. And these are the things that I wish people would talk about. And me and you just had an agreement. You know what I mean? Like, you're a warden, I'm a collie. We can have agreements on things, right? It doesn't always have to be this toxic environment that we've created. And, I think if we had a lot more time like that where people actually had good faith arguments on Reddit and FOD, or if the devs actually got a community manager, if we brought stuff up to them like that, how much healthier would this game be in the community? That's where I'm at.
I would say I think it is more healthy, but I also think about it from the aspect of the reason why you hear about the Lunaire, the Cutler, and the tanks the most is because that's mostly what people engage with.
Yeah.
So for me, the way I think about it is the thing I do the most now is mostly host ops. I do a lot of Logi previously, but like for the last couple of wars, I've just been doing a lot of ops again. And the thing I in that engage with the most is artillery, is PVE equipment, things like that. So like my concerns are often gonna be rounded around these things. That's why you see the naval guys on the game. On the Kali side, they're gonna talk about the torp bomber because obviously that's the thing that they engage with and they probably find the most oppressive. Like for me, one of my biggest things that annoys me that you probably will never hear is dealing with Kali 150s. Because when they have wind on us, they already have 50 meters. But if they have wind, especially when we were pushing Volpine last war after taking Old Morn, we're talking about 70 plus meters. My push is basically dead at that point. I can do tremolas,
That's how
which
we
I just
feel with
base.
150s.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
exactly how you feel, brother. I
Yeah.
know
So like,
exactly how you feel.
So like I'm gonna automatically talk about the things that I'm engaged with because like the 50 extra meters makes a huge difference. And I understood it also when I was a Kali when I have the faster shooting 120, which is really good for QRF. At the same time, the 50 extra meters can make a very big difference in a push. So for 120s up to 150s, I used to get fucking annoyed as a Kali. But now as a Warden, I fucking hate every time that Cav or someone else responded to me with 150s last war, and I'm just like, okay, they got wind on top of it. They got 70 meters. The push core is basically dead. There's not much I can really do at this point. I just gotta suck it up.
Well, I mean,
So
here's where I could go pull a Reddit and just tell you, bro, it's just skill issue, man. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
See, and that's the thing, bro. It's such a nasty spiral. And again, like we're all concerned players, not concerned. We're all dedicated players. We all love the game, and there's nowhere for you to try to put a piece of advice in. There's nowhere for you. Literally just have to sit there and eat it. Like there's no other option.
Take it.
You just take it. That there's no place to go talk about it. The places you can go talk about it are in your Discord chat with your best friends who are saying the exact same things you are, or they tell you to shut the fuck up because they've heard it 100 times, or you go to FOD and Reddit and get gaslit. It's
Yeah. So, right, so what we've said, while we were setting the stream up, is that literally Reddit thought they gaslight you more than ChatGPT does with its functions sometimes. Like it's unreal, right? This kind of atmosphere. I don't know if it's like nostalgia or like whatever the fuck, right? Maybe I'm just remembering things badly, but it feels like God, it feels like 6 or 7 years ago. We like it was way less toxic than now, right? The community was
Yeah,
just completely different. I feel it was a lot smaller as well, but I feel it was also due to the fact that we had actual events, actual community managers, actual moderators. Actually events that people would all go together and be like, "Oh man, this is cool. Let's have a good time." Where nowadays it's all just bitterness and just it's just a war or nothing, and no one gets to no fun at all.
you
Right?
know, I actually just kind of had my single brain cell activate there. I put a connection together there. I always used to say in arguments when talking about when wardens or collies are so much more organized, and something that always really pissed me off because it really discredited my efforts, and I always thought people were attacking me, and that's not necessarily the case, but I always felt like that. And the argument I always say is people are a product of their environment, right? And maybe
Yeah.
we're all just becoming a product of a very shitty workplace. And that's what I'm going to call it, is a very shitty workplace. We're all becoming bitter and nasty with the company because it's a bitter, shitty workplace. And we're all getting very bitter. And there's no enjoyment. There's no fucking pizza party after breaking the ball crushing factory, all right? I don't even get my pizza party anymore.
Are you
okay?
saying that Foxhole
Yeah.
is a social experiment?
I'm just I'm just saying. Could
But
be a thing. But hey,
what
seriously
It's a
though,
social
am I not
experiment.
wrong though? Am I not wrong in that?
what I would say
That is
on top
completely
of that
true.
is that think about, like you're saying, it's a toxic workplace, but the reality is if you try to go to HR, they tell you, you
You getting
might do
gaslit
something
by
about it.
HR?
You might do something about it in like literally 6 months or something about it. But we're not gonna do nothing about it right now. And then finally, when they do about it, you've been suffering for it for months. That's
Yeah.
Foxhole.
No,
That was
HR
a
was
fucking.
planning to go on vacation.
Oh
during
my
that meeting.
god, dude, that was awesome, bro. Oh,
Right,
that was a fucking peach take, dude.
That's a clip right there, man.
That was a
right.
fucking peach take. Fucking HR out for fucking lunch. Be back in 6 months. Fuck me, dude. That was great. I mean, but seriously though, is that not how we all fucking feel about the game? And you know what? Here's the other thing my buddy said in right on the car ride home, which I agreed with so much. And if you don't get into the bullshit balance talks and all the bullshit nasty like headlines, when you start looking at things that actually should be looked at and done, I think there's a lot of things that both sides would love if they started to like address and fix that would literally heal the game. I was talking to Cockface right before this, and I was talking about if you guys have ever watched. I don't know if I said this on stream yet or not. I hope I didn't. I'm not repeating myself, but I don't think I did. If you guys ever heard of a game called Rainbow Six Siege by Ubisoft, they had a update for Mira and Jackal, and they postponed that update because the game was in such a bad spot that they went ahead and dropped a new update called Operation Health. And they postponed making money and postponed making a lot of like stuff because the game was in such a shit position that they prioritized the quality of life and health of the game. And look at Siege now. It's I mean, you can argue and say whatever, like I'm not actually looking for your opinion on it, but it's still a relevant game for over like 10 years now. Very relevant. And it's because they took the time to do Operation Health. And I
They
really
listen to the
think
community.
exactly. And I'm not saying I want to run Siege Camp. I'm not saying any of us do. I think we're all very passionate about Foxhole, and we're implementing and wanting things to change for the betterment. Because I'm going to be honest, I love on Friday night when I have an operation planned on Foxhole and going and playing with the fucking boys. I love being a fucking degenerate to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to go play Foxhole. I love that shit. Have not felt that in a long fucking time.
That's called drugs, mate. But imagine if you had a community manager who is that into Foxhole, right? Who would actually get paid to actually be in Foxhole, talk with people, resolve issues, take screenshots and videos, right? Organize events.
Be on
Imagine
podcasts, community outreach.
And then
Bro,
also what I'll say
imagine.
is engage with the different aspects of the game. Because I'm not gonna lie, one of the biggest things that got over me with devs finally was when they did the builder update and they finally posted the picture. I don't know if you guys saw that on FOD, where he was just like, "This is like the idea of building that we want to do," and it was just probably one of the worst bunkers I've ever seen. And one of my issues with it is like you clearly know that the devs do not engage with building on even an intermediate level at that point when they were trying to do their big changes for something like that. And you heard the responses from the veteran builders of the community. And one of the issues I have is exactly what I mentioned last time. They have their ideas and they really want to push things through. Often it may be due to some feedback that they received previously. But the problem I have with that is then they don't listen to the feedback based on what they're then doing. So now either you're going to have to suffer with it until it becomes too much, like we saw with storm cannons, where the original stated goal was okay, we are doing this to end stagnation. It became the most stagnant war ever, and then it's just like, okay, yeah, we fucked up. Let's roll it back. But it's still, first off, you had to make people endure that, and at the same time, I still think they were in a worse spot than the devs when they previously touched it and were 126. And
it's a
that's
start. I think I will put a contrary opinion. I like the builder update for the simple fact that you can just turn off your brain and just build a brick because nothing else matters, right? And it will get destroyed in 2 hours by random bullshit. So,
I what I would say with this,
so just
and
build a brick and don't think about it, and it doesn't build. Nothing matters anymore. The
what I
cure
will
bunkers.
say with building specifically, because I used to really love interacting with building, and I feel like there's a lot of people that do that with naval, and a lot of people that do that with infantry and tanks, and now we have airborne too. Is that at least previously building felt like it was somewhat creative. The issue I had with now, specifically around like integrity, in terms of adjacent garrisons and things like this, is that it really nerfed the idea of trying to be creative because the best you can ever build with like a defensive piece is a brick. There's nothing you can go beyond that. And previously, you can weave and build some unique things, and you see all these incredible designs across the board. But the reality is now brick. You want to build something? The best you can build is a brick, and that's just the way that they build it. I
You know,
love the adjacency and stuff,
Well,
and the fire stuff.
hold on though. Past. I'd like to know what war you got entered into. What war did you buy the game or got in?
What war? It was late 90s. It was like
Okay, so you've been
90
about as long as me. I got in at 94.
some.
The reason I ask is not to like insult you. I was just curious if you went through um full fucking MPFs of ballistas not being able to kill concrete. You know what
Hey,
I'm
well,
saying? Like
uh,
that
on both
shit.
sides of it,
Well,
where like ballistas are now in a state where they're not even really made anymore. Like
I
I
haven't
was
seen a
just
ballista at all.
I don't want to
those
talk
things don't
about it.
really
I'm so
exist
mad
that
about the
much.
ballista. I'm so sad about it. Point
I
being,
see that is
what I was trying to get at with the builder update and kind of to talk to you about was if you remember what you had to do to kill concrete back in the day was fucking insane. Like, to be honest,
Two railway storm cannon plus ballista rush plus infantry rush.
I don't mind the new builder update. There are things I like from both halves though. Because I like the fact that there's breachability to concrete now. Because that actually allows strategic, like chipping apart concrete. You can't just hide behind one mega piece with 40 AFK bots hammering with BMATs while you're
hmm
shooting already to shoot their, whole shit down. But the other half, right? Like it does suck that you can be AFK or a low pop. You can have fucking 3 people pull up with a havoc and breach one of your main fucking pieces. There are caveats to both sides. Both sides have benefits. Both sides have shittiness. Again, community manager, we could express the issues with the new and revert some changes. You know what I mean? There are things, again, that could be better for both ways. But, point being, I was just asking you about your, because I didn't know if you ever saw the mass ballista fucking charges that didn't kill concrete or sometimes would. It was fucking insane. Um, so yeah, I
Being a
was just
builder
curious.
has been an experience within Foxhole. I feel like now at this point, a lot of the most veteran build, at least I can speak on the warden side, a lot of the veteran builders are basically gone at this point. They don't build anymore. Because like I said, the creativity is gone. Like I understand everybody mentioned back in the day multi-placing and things like that, which were something that the devs were very much against, and I can understand that. But just taking away the base creativity is something I'm very much against, which is why I'm still against the integrity changes that they did to adjacent pieces. Get rid of that,
Yeah,
and then you would have to at least build a fucking brick.
I think I think the entire what you guys said in like the last 5 minutes could be resumed to a single meme. You guys know the meme of like the guy who's looking with two paths that separate and they lead to two different paths.
Yes.
You could put one image being the brick, one image being the 24 steps Sarissa.
yeah,
Uh,
Build it.
fuck, you're not even joking, dude. But yeah, man, I just think the biggest piece I want to get away from this podcast, and I really want to know what your guys' take on it is. Um, just because we kind of went through this whole loop. Do you guys think the game is dead? One, and do you think it's revivable?
They need to lock in ASAP, dude. Like they need to they need to start telling like, yo, we'll work on like this and this thing. Like they can be very vague that they don't have to give details, but like they have to like communicate more. God damn it!
mm.
And I mean, just give people hope, at least some hopium. Like people can hopium, you know, like sniff on that hopium and give some people something to look out for, and not just like radio silence and like, oh, we were planning to go on vacation, but since you guys, you know, are not happy, I guess do something. I guess in 6 months.
I would say at least to that is I don't think it's dead. I think Foxhole is a very interesting game because it attracts degenerates that will replace other degenerates, and that's kind of been the life cycle. I think the issue that you've had is that you've had a massive amount of burnout of the veteran core of players that have been playing for
Hmm.
years, and a lot of them just stopped quitting. Like they started quitting the past couple wars before Airborne, and they just came back for Airborne as their last huzzah, right? There's a lot of groups that I can even point to, like on the Warden, that just came back for that war, or people that came back for that war, and that was just it. So the expectations that we get back up to that specific level of pop, I think was this okay, it was airborne, that was the meme, we're moving on from it. But in
And
terms of the in
yeah, go
terms of the
ahead, go ahead.
games, oh, okay. In terms of the game's health, my thing with it is I do think there will be newer players to come in here, but the issue is can you get those newer players in here and retain them in a healthy way before these other groups start losing their pop? Because at this point, I look across most discords, it's a brick war, obviously, but a lot of people aren't playing. And the issue that you're gonna get into is you need to get that retainment in here of the newer base of people that are coming in to replace the people who are already leaving before the vets leave. Because that's basically how regiments die. The vet core becomes inactive and they don't
Yep.
replace themselves, and then the Reggie is just like, okay, we're entirely inactive, or they already announced that they're dead prior to that. And that's basically what Foxhole is.
But
So they need to do that.
one important point as well is that people often say like the counter argument to what you're saying that people make at least on the Reddit is that oh the people have been saying the game is dying for years, and it is true. People have been saying the game is dying for years. However, the map used to be way smaller. Things used to be a lot more simpler. You didn't need as many people to do one thing, right?
Mhm.
And all these combined factors mean that a game before you could have run it with 500 people, it will still feel lively. You know, people were still in one spot, etc. Because the map was not very big. There was only like 3 or 4 lanes. You know, it wasn't that a lot, and again, that is actually adjust the map to the size and not have two shards open and bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But nowadays you have way higher population requirements. So there is that, and plus on top that, for people who have been around for years now, and this is what I told you guys off stream right before we start the stream, for people who have been around for years, it feels generally different this time around. It feels completely different this time around. It feels really like, we've hit the airborne, we've hit every single point of hopium we could pass, and now it's like, yo, okay, so what's next? What are we gonna do now? Like, this this has just gone worse and worse, and there is no like something higher in sight.
Well,
And so yeah.
something else I want to add on to that too. I actually had a little joke with one of my regiment guys, Felissa, and a lot of people kept commenting on the fact that the player numbers were still up, and I kept I kept going down and doubling down on what I was saying. I said, I know the numbers may seem okay, but if you go look at the reviews right now, which I don't, and here's the other thing, this isn't a organized review bomb. People are genuinely pissed off, and if you go look at the reviews, a majority of low hour people are writing positive reviews, and an overwhelmingly amount of higher hour people are like done. And the problem is, the game can't survive without vets. That's the other inherent issue.
Exactly.
And vets are pissed. It's not about keeping the new players, because this might not be a good amount of vets to low player number, but if we drop the number of vets down to 0, I don't know if the game really could be even playable. Like,
There's gonna be nothing happening, dude. It's just gonna be Charlie Shard, like, literally just gonna
I
be
don't
Charlie
even
Shard.
know if like that. It would just. I like, genuinely, I don't know what would happen, and
So
it just it can be playable, right? It would be playable, but that's not Able Shard Foxhole. That would be relatively a dead game. Like,
Yeah.
you're not. You still have people playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, bro. That doesn't mean the
But
game's not
it's not the
fucking
same,
dead,
yeah.
bro. It's not Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009. You know what I'm saying? Just because there are players and it's not 100% zero, the life's not there, guys. And to be
so
honest, and this isn't corny or cheesy, but like, the people in the podcast here, like, you are the life of the game. You know what I'm saying? If you care enough to watch in Twitch about this shit, if you came to watch my podcast, if you're on my podcast panel, you're the life of the fucking game. You care enough about it. You know all the insides and outsides. If you leave, it can be even revived from that point, but you're talking years down the road of
You're gonna have to
learning.
convince many people to come back as well. It's gonna take a
so
lot
And
of convincing. The trust has been broken.
so one
and
thing I would add on to this, right? Because you guys are talking about two aspects. With just the way the game feels, because people come to Able to have a specific experience. One of the issues I've always said for a very long time is that they come with expectations. Like I did the exact same thing when I got into Foxhole, and I did not reach my expectations. Foxhole was very different from how it was when I watched all the videos on YouTube that led me to go into it. And that's often because that experience that you're trying to see is very much focused on regiment play. Is very much focused on specific organizing, which larger groups and medium-sized groups can only entertain. Like we mentioned before, like if you want to play on a battleship, yeah, you can be a part of the battleship, but the reality is you're not going to hold a significant position unless you're part of a regiment and you earn that spot. My issue with Able Shard as it currently is that on top of that is that you have the map which is way too big for my opinion. Like we have
Yeah,
had
it's way
issues
too big, man.
between issues between update to update war where the pop always dies down into the next update war, and it is way too big because you're seeing that hexes are just not being populated. I think the devs should have just cut it down. On top of the fact that they should have just cut down Charlie, because to me, what Charlie should have been is a proper tutorial rather than just, I don't know what the fuck is this, an open war zone that has no form of organization
It's
because
the
it's
Wild
nothing like
West, dude.
Able. Yeah, it's
It's the
nothing.
Wild West.
It is this a whole bunch of like what am I doing? That's what Charlie is. Because I've been on Charlie for a war. I took a break war there, in between jobs, and it's the Wild West. So my issue is that like if you're coming from Charlie, which a lot of the players which they first come into the game is they are first being logged into Charlie unless they understand the difference between the two, is they're getting very much different experiences that hurts
Mhm.
retainment. And then on top of it, they're not necessarily being directed into an avenue unless they are finding specific people like maybe Robert Loves Games that is directing them to like find regiments where they're not going to find that specific play that they want to when they're getting into Foxhole. So, how many players are you automatically losing? Hundreds or thousands over
Yeah,
years
it's a
that are
lot. It's gotta be a lot.
which are coming in here, and I'm going like, I saw these massive tank battles. I come on Charlie, where are all the tanks? There's none.
Yeah. No, there's a
Tough.
BT like parked next to defenses, I guess. I saw the other day.
Yeah. So it's bad reality, and then even worse is that there's no good teaching guide on Foxhole. Your teaching guide is YouTube, and that's just awful.
And
Like,
YouTube's not even that good. Like, I'm gonna be honest, that pool is still not that filled because the meta changes all the fucking time with updates and stuff. Like,
yeah.
there's not even a good building tutorial right now.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
well, and there's no, and that's a main issue. Buildings, like they say, it's simplified, it's confusing. Getting tech, teaching someone tech and how to vote on tech is even on fucking Able bastardly. People in Able still don't know how to fucking vote with hundreds of hours, by the way.
Yeah. So
Um,
I made a joke about it today that most like 1 out of 500 people still do not understand that they cannot kill a safe house from the outside when it has the RD
I mean,
Bro,
RD
it is
bunker.
so fucking
that's
common,
not
dude.
explained. Like, just so many things that like you literally have to fuck up 30 times and someone be like, you could build that better, or you get taught by your regiment leader or regiment fill in position
Or
here.
veterans, just
Well,
veterans in general.
you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just, it's insane, dude. It's
There's no
insane.
guy.
And here's something I said a while ago, and it would cost the company money. And I know it would. It would cost a voice actor. It would cost everything. How is there not a fuck when you get into the game? It bare fucking minimum how to spawn in, grab a gun, and grab a like. There should be at least 3 tutorials before you even get to the spawn island. Why
I,
is there not for the colonials like a gunnery sergeant like, all right, son, grab your rifle, get to the range.
Yeah, dude, that'll be awesome,
Like,
dude.
fuck,
Holy
and then
shit.
for the wardens, you have like the, oh, welcome to the front. Like, come on, dude, the LARP is there. People would pay you to be the voice
Dude,
actors.
one
Are
one
you
thing
Dude, that
fucking
would be
kidding me?
amazing.
Like,
one
Dude,
thing.
that would be amazing. What the fuck? Yeah.
What I would say about this is very interesting is that Foxhole, I feel like a lot of the vets they have to take that initiative unless they automatically end up in a group that does that teaching for them. One thing I will say is that like people like Farik, and this is someone I've thought that the community like has appreciated for so long because he's done a lot of good work teaching players. He's probably taught the most amount of players in Foxhole. Is someone like that should be given the opportunity to do a tutorial for Foxhole and just give his own type space. Like in Helldivers, you first get into the game, you get a proper tutorial, you get explained how regiments work, where to go, where to find them, where to get this play, um, this style play that you're looking for, and you could get an hour or two long thing that you want to engage with. Like even in Helldivers, you get the junk, but the junk is still explaining to you the basics of the game. For someone like Farik, who goes really in depth, his logistics videos are like an hour long. Unless you take that initiative, which often those some people who are already like looking to get the game prior, or they get directed to that by maybe fought by some coincidence or the regiment, that is generally a person and other people who are like in that space who are doing good work, because how many people has he probably kept in this game because he taught them logistics or facilities? Probably hundreds, probably
well,
thousands.
just either way you go about it, there are people dedicated enough to help the devs do it. Now, obviously, the coding and all that shit will take time, but these are like the fundamentals of this podcast right now. We need an Operation fucking Health. Like, At the end of the day, that's what needs to go in the game more than anything else at the moment. Player retention, all-time low. The game is not dead, but it's on life support. It needs quality of life
It needs
throughout
CPR,
the
bro.
board. It needs CPR throughout the fucking board. And it's simple things. Again, I'm saying simple. Maybe I should not use exacts. Like, it's things that need to be done no matter the cost. And that's easy for me to say because I'm not fucking paying. But point being, they have to get. I'm gonna keep beating this fucking dead horse. They have to get a community mod. They need to get tutorials. They need to get more quality of life throughout the game. Those are the big ticket punchers that are getting people to fucking leave. They need to fix. I mean, heaven forbid, even this, and I know it's silly, loading a tank is fucking annoying. It's
Yep.
it's
I never
stupidly
do it. I just take off the ground whenever I can.
It's stupidly fucking annoying to load a tank. And all on those small things like that, I know it's like fucking skill issue, whatever, cry about it. It has to be no, dude. It's fucking annoying for no reason, and it's so fucking stupid how long it takes to pull a shell from a town hall and put it in your fucking tank. It's stupid. Like small things like that are just pulling time for no fucking reason. Why? Why are the cranes at the fucking storage depots slow as shit? Stupid. Why are they not as fast as the fucking crane that you can build at your facility?
So you can look your fellow colleague in the eye when you slowly move the crane.
Fucking stupid, bro. Like, it just... Bro, fuck's sakes. There's just so many small things like that it's like, why are we not focusing on that? Why are... those are the types of things... It seems small and insignificant. But yes.
I've seen a comment right on the Twitch, dude. Why can't you just dump crates in the tanks to load
I've said that 100... You know what? No, and honestly, fuck that. Even go a step further. Go into what the fucking devs love. Whatever. Make the fucking upgrade pad that you upgrade your tank on, make it to where that can load shells in. There should be a pot.
Just put
there
the
should
crates
be
of shells to the pad, yeah.
The crates of shells should go into the pad, or it should be connected to the bunker some fucking how. And as soon as you fucking hit a button on the little dash pad on the bottom, it starts loading shells in. Then you could just load shells into the bunker base, and then it's like an auto loader. You still have logistics to move the crates from the storage depot to the bunker. You still have to do something. But heaven for fucking bid, we have something easy that doesn't fucking make you want to punch your monitor. Just small stuff, bro.
This is what I mentioned before. I feel like they need, besides the tutorials and everything I said before, but the very first thing I said was that they need to interact with people or have people like they listen to that actually play these different aspects. Because I can't speak on a lot of naval because I've played sparingly. I suffer from naval at times when they annoy me, but they need to talk to the naval guys about naval, right? And they could talk to the guys that suffer from naval about how they're affected by it too. But this is the same thing with facilities, and this is the biggest problem we have with building. I know for a fact they did not talk with any veteran builders based on that update. There's no way they did because the way that they presented building and their idea for having separate pieces do specific things. So this piece over here has 18, this piece over here has rifle guesses. It made no sense. And this is how I know they're not talking to people about these specific aspects. For facilities, they need to talk to people who suffer the grueling process of that. Logistics, the grueling process of that. But they don't. They expect like the person maybe on FOD or the person on Reddit that makes this comments, because this is honestly how they get a lot of their feedback, that or they play the
But
game,
you know what?
but they're not playing at part of a regiment.
You don't even know if that's where they're getting their info. Because the thing is, they don't fucking say where they're getting all these it's so I'm just adding to your point. It's
But this is what I said in the second part of that, where I said like you can also see that they're not interacting with certain aspects that regiments are, because regiments do things differently than often the way that they're thinking. Specifically, like building, they were almost building like newbies into this in this game, In the same way, I've seen previous updates about facilities in which they did not have any concerns, like when they did the 5 times Q update. One of the biggest concerns that came out of that was that any random guy can go to your facility, set a queue, and now you as a regiment can't blow it up. You have to get the 5 flags, and now you got to blow up almost everything in
And
your
you don't
fact.
get the
That
refund.
was
Fucking
And you don't
and
get
that
the
was
refund for
you don't
demoing
get
it.
the yeah,
Yeah, just
but
fucked.
that became the process. Before War 112, the process was you can blow up your entire fact, you just got to move stuff around. That's fine. But after 112, it became a grueling process where if you didn't know who set the queues and if you couldn't track them down, now you got to blow up half your fact. And now you just got to spend what was taking maybe 30 minutes prior,
advanced
hours.
form of griefing, dude.
Yeah,
4D chess griefing.
and this is how I
40
know they're not
chess
talking
griefing.
with guys that do facilities.
Alts
This is
are
how I
playing
know.
checkers. Alts are playing checkers, dumping tanks into the river. These motherfuckers are playing chess, fucking putting keys on
Putting
facilities.
cues in random people's bases, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, god damn it.
Ultimate
Uh,
facility, dude.
So I say, like, I think they need to talk with people who are experts in these fields that know the game more than they do. Because at the end of the day, there's some people that know naval to an extent where the devs are going like, we did not predict this was gonna happen, and that happens all the time. Same thing with building. They could never have expected the level of building of where it got to in this game because they did get to a crazy extent. On top of that, they need to talk to a lot of people who are in regiments, not just solo players, because the experience between the two is almost nothing alike in many circumstances.
It just pisses me off, man. The game has so much goddamn potential. It doesn't take a fucking genius to figure out like basic stuff, man. It's just so fucking annoying, man. The second a competitor comes out and actually puts in the changes that people would expect of a normal game, or like just basic dev communication, people
Yeah.
people are gonna jump ship immediately,
okay,
man.
low key. This is an old take, but someone in chat just brought up something. This is another small take. Bro, cities should be fucking cities.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Holy
absolutely.
shit, dude. Also, I don't know how to fucking do it. This is another bitch, and I'm actually curious what you think. Past, do you think the map is fair and balanced?
So my viewpoint, okay, so this is my viewpoint on it. With the wardens previously with building, and this is something I used to teach a lot of my guys, is that we build a lot around hard points. So we build between the mountains themselves, and that would become a very big thing. So a lot of my guys or a lot of people I would teach on BBB, which is the building server, is like you're building between these two areas, so two mountains, and often you wouldn't see larger continuous bases. And one I used to often use was TC3 base that they had in Great March One War, where they built a 360 base. So the designs for a lot of bases, like even in War 124, I think Valley built a big base. It was a 360 model of a base, versus if you look for a lot of ours, they were not 360 models. They were built between some, I don't know, hard points, some points that they can often take advantage of. And often those have benefits and they have downsides. The downsides are if you often just attack the corner by the hard point, which is the weakest spot, then you can break it. That's exactly what happened at Foxcatcher. They literally pushed the western side of Foxcatcher near the mountain with a whole bunch of lunaires, and they blew up all those fucking rows of defenses. And then the benefits is often M subs, so you're not having to pay for a big ass base that is 360, that has this. I don't even want to know the fucking cost for some of these bases anymore. Thank God I don't have
It's
to
in
deal
the,
with
it's in
that.
the thousands, dude. It's in the
Yeah,
thousands.
yeah. I don't build like that anymore, so I don't have to suffer that cost. For me, with the
Just
map,
probably
It's talking
evolved.
about like 5 to 6,000
so
M subs a day easily for
it,
like
uh,
half.
prob- probably more. It really depends. Like
Depending on
a lot
how
of
much you
verses,
have in there, fuck yeah, it could be up to
I
10K a corner, like a
I
corner of your base. Like
oh
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
joking.
yeah, yeah. So for me, like the map itself, when I was a Kali, there were specifically good spots that I would like to build in, which are often around Alets, some spaces around Westgate that you can really take advantage of, not the top of Westgate, which fucking sucks. Um, Clashtro was a really good spot. There's specific parts that the Kalis have advantage of, which is Watchful Knave. Um, Scurvy Shire can be really good because you can't really get around the fucking bulwark at times. There's specific spots around there that you can, where you got to go through Drown Vale. But the open ground, like once you get south of the bulwark, like or you get around, let's just say like Great March, or I'm not. I stayed away from them for a specific reason. I do not like the open ground, the big open terrain. It reminds
Bro,
me of like reaching trail. I avoid the middle of the map like fucking hell. I
bro,
just like
there's so many holes in the bulwark. As soon as the Wardens go past a single one of them, like the entire bulwark becomes.
yeah. Like for me, like the strongest part of the bulwark, obviously people point to Sableport. It's annoying as fuck to deal with Sableport.
That's it, like the hard point. But
Yeah,
the
that
rest of it is super easy.
it is
I would
annoying to deal with
say
that.
that and then Blemish. Blemish, that's a fucking. It's a nuke town, dude. You better nuke
So
Blemish, bro. Fuck me. That
so
place
that
is tank. I'm
Watchful
just
Navy.
curious though. What like I hear what you're saying, but do you genuinely think it's balanced? Like honestly, like if you were to give you an actual opinion on it, do you think the map is balanced? Because that's
I think
something
that
people have argued for like I'm not even kidding, like since
Eons.
I started the fucking game in 93. Do you really
so
think that it's balanced? Because people say it's not.
so with me when I was a colonial, like I said, I think the map is unbalanced towards the middle of the map. I do not like the big open plains. Some people do. Maybe TC3 loves the fucking area by Sataria because of Logi. But the big open plains, it makes it a lot harder to defend. You have to build around specific points, and they're very easy to build push cores and flank. Other points, like I said, Alids are really in favor of colonials. Like there's certain hexes like Alids, which is really good for them because unless you flank on a specific bridge to the west of the hex, you're basically getting fucked as wardens. And not even talking about Watchful Knave, which is like impossible to push from the eastern bridge. And you can push from the northern bridge if they don't have like, all
All
hell
right.
set up. So
Here's the really most important question though. Do you
mm,
think Fairnet Coast is a balanced map?
Faranac Coast. I think Faranac Coast is hell for wardens to push what's it called? Jade Cove from the north. It is a death trap. I think it is fucking stupid. I think trying to push across the bridge at I forget Bonehav is also a fucking trap for us. Like I feel like this because I think about it from an OP lead. As an OP lead, as someone that's done previous pushes from these areas, pushing across the bridge at Bonehav when it's defended, like properly defended, and there's people currently there, is annoying as fuck to deal with. Same thing with trying to go J Cove. You don't really push north of J Cove. You have to do the exact same route every fucking time, which is go through Terra, go south through Pleading Wharf, or you have to go across one of those two bridges, depending on how ballsy you are or how much momentum you have. So it's literally the same strat every single time. Versus Colonials, I have seen
Yeah.
them previously where you can go north through Jade Cove. It's happened before. It's a lot harder. But at the same time, I do think at least far in that coast, the main island favors colonials in terms of defending it. The main island, especially Jave Code Parv, because like trying to go up the fucking hill with the stairs is just like, bro.
I
That's my
think
view.
Thanatos is just cock and ball torture HQ, right? Neither
I
side
really
wins.
wish
It's just
I
it's just
that's the
awful.
worst map in the game. Like in all honesty, that in my opinion is the worst map in the fucking game. Hands
I
like I if I could avoid that fucking hex, I will. I would
I
play any other hex. People hate Endless Shore. I'll play Endless Shore every day over that fucking fuck that map. That fuck both hills pushing up Bonehaft and pushing up fucking Jade Cove Hill. Fuck that. It's the most
that,
annoying bullshit I've ever fucking played in my goddamn life, dude.
I was gonna say with Jade Cove, the thing about it, at least from like when I was a colonial, is you avoid Jade Cove. You just go around and you encircle. That's like how. That's what I'm saying with Farnak. Farnak is a very one specific lane where you have to go down a specific route, which is avoid Jade Cove. If you can take Jade Cove, it's happened before, then great. But generally, you're avoiding it and you're flanking until you can, like, logi cut it. If you're warding, you're logi cutting it from the east. Or if you're a colonial, you're avoiding it. And I would generally go north and say, people on ramp road protocol, I will murder you. I'm
but
going
it's
north.
a newbie magnet, man. The newbies, it's like
It's
moths to a lamp. They
it's
gotta go to
like
the ramp. The
it's
ramp
like
calls.
bro, it's abandoned word, endless short. Like it is abandoned word
Yeah,
meme.
bro.
Everybody pushes the same fucking middle spot instead of flanking. I don't know what to say.
I fucking hate that, dude. I just that area specifically, and then the most hated map generally in the game that people get forced to play. That I think two maps need a rework, like genuinely for the health of the game. I think Jade Cove, and I also think King's Cage. Both of those maps are like Jade Cove can be fun because it's a meat grinder, and some people enjoy that. I have not met a fucking person to this day who enjoys going to go play KC. It is
I
literally
Yeah.
two bridge battles back to fucking back. And you're not
I would
talking
add more.
easy bridge battles. It's fucking
Yeah,
horrible.
I
there's a
would
point
say
to be made. Yeah,
No one
go
likes it.
ahead.
no, I was gonna say Stilikin Shelf. Graf mentioned that. I fucking hate Stilikin Shelf.
I
It's
love
literally the
Stilkin.
same play.
I love
It's
Stilkin.
fun. Wait, I would say this as a colonial, it's fun to push, but as a warden to defend, it is the worst.
Bro, are you kidding
Because
me? You guys don't like defend. You don't like defending the
no,
fucking the
it's called
non.
Ship?
shit can for a reason.
No, it is shit can shelf. But dude, there's been so many like awesome battles I've had
Yeah,
at
but
Port of Rhyme,
that's what I say.
bro. Oh, dude, that's like fucking. Oh, that's the chef's kiss,
It's
bro.
not nearly the worst thing in the game, dude.
It's not the worst,
Okay, no,
bro.
okay, no. For me, I have defended points across the map. The only time Stilkin is fine, and this has been like a recent development, is if Volpine holds. So like in War 126 with Fort Hyson, if that holds, it's fine. But when that falls and the rest of the hex like Pale House happens and stuff like that, it is this it
Bro,
is
there's
awful.
no Navy gonna come fuck with you. You can just do Logi over the water. What are you talking about? You're fine, bro. Literally no boat will show up to Port of Rhyme. I bet you my fucking house on it. There would never be a collie boat to come out there, and if it does,
Oh,
it'll be in the fucking bottom of the bay in like
it's
5
not a-
fucking minutes, bro. There's no way there's no fucking boat that has the balls to go to Port of Rhyme, dude. You couldn't
it's
pay
not
them.
it's not just about boats because then like if you go to like Farnet Coast for example, a good hard point for like the colonials, that's like a versus Bonehalf is Victor, right? And then if wardens do take that, they always do the same fucking trap. I'm forgetting the subhex, which is directly south of Victor, where they always push that same fucking lane and they get caught between the two mountains there.
Oh, you're talking
It's so
about
fucking annoying.
the worst fucking place to defend in the game. I'll go find the name for you. It gets
Gallows. It is
yeah, the gallows.
gallows.
It gets fucking
It's the
landed every war. Every
it
single
is
war, it gets landed. Gallows,
it
it's
is
horrible.
it's the worst place to push, and it's the worst lane to push because you got to go through ranchers. But as a warden, it's the worst way to push, and then it's also a trap for colonials to defend because most of the time, like even with
What
Valley in
defense
World
can
War
you even do
24,
there? You
you
literally can't
don't
even defend it. Literally, it's a
you
gimme.
build you build the big ass area
To
in the
the right of
field
it,
of
yeah.
baths,
You
yeah,
literally
to
just
the
can't
left.
build that fucking. There's literally nowhere to build that fucking subhex. It's literally the most free gimme place I've ever seen in the game. Like it's
And
land here, please. That's what it's incentivizing. There's a beach there. It's fucked, dude. That's such a bad hex.
I would argue that there is, if you've been a vet for a long enough time, that there is really a map burnout with the game. Like it's always the same fucking maps. It's always the same fucking
Well,
battles.
even going east
That's
to west doesn't fucking help, dude. It makes it
yeah.
worse, bro. East west,
map isn't
northwest.
built by east to
No,
west.
it's a north south, but like they can't make a whole new fucking map, bro. Like that. That's not. But I generally feel like when was the last map update we got? I know we just got 6 new fucking maps, but I'm saying like an update to a previous old map. When's the last one we got? Because I can't remember.
I think this Stilikin one, like when they added the fucking boat and they thought that was great.
I mean,
What is that?
I don't know. Maybe they changed one little sub region, but I'm talking about a full map rework.
But I'm not gonna
Oh,
name. I'm not gonna give names, but I do see people who could literally spend 8 hours in a row fighting over Deadlands Plaza and Ramp and think, this is great gameplay. I
no,
would
that's
honestly
it's
kill
where all the
myself
recruits
not
go.
doing
The
that.
recruit they go in the same spots. It's always endless short by Saltbrook. It's always abandoned ward. It's literally like the main hexes with the big ass
I would
towns.
rather kill myself than go there.
It's always Jade Cove going up the fucking ramp or pushing across a bridge, and you're going like, why are you doing either of these? It's the same spot. In Mercy's Wish, pushing across the Tomb of the First, and you're going like, don't build the fucking bridge, and they build it for the 20th time. It's the same spot.
Dude, I love the map posts on there where it says rule number 1, don't build the
Don't
fucking
build the
bridge.
bridge.
Rule number 2, listen to rule number 1. It's so fucking funny, dude. Some things never change, bro.
I don't even want to count the amount of newbies who've been shot by
Bro.
who tries to build a
So,
bridge.
like, to give some more insight as a warden, for example, I hate Maiden's Veil. I think every warden hates Maiden Veil and Stilikin the most. No one wants to be in those two hexes. Because Split Rocks is disgusting.
Yeah.
Every warden knows Maiden's Veil, if you don't get Split Rocks, you just fucked up that whole entire hex. That's why Mox is like a joke for the faction now. No,
Alright,
defenders.
boys.
I was
Alright,
just
boys,
about to
let's play
say,
Fox. Let's play Foxhole, boys. Let's get on bridge guard duty. Let's make sure we hang out here for 8 hours a day. Make sure the other side does not build a bridge.
well,
Gate gameplay.
I don't want to take you too long, Cockface. I don't want your girlfriend to fuck you up
Alright.
tomorrow. Are you sure you're good still?
I'm good still here.
All right. I know we're pulling up on 2 hours, like I promised. We're at an hour 45, but I know we started late. So, there's some things, bro. And just to kind of like summarize and wrap up, because I am almost to the point. I really think the game's not dead. I think it's on life support, and I think if they don't listen to, like, not specifically us, but I meaning us as in the community, and cipher through the fucking toxic bullshit, but really listen to the people who want the game to survive and live, I really do think the game is in a chance to die. Like, not reversible. I really think that they have a really good chance to fix it. I think it's possible. I think that they can come back stronger from this than they ever have. But I do think the chance of them ignoring us and doubling down on everything is a possibility, and they could really fuck up the ties between a lot of people. Now, sure, will you still see pop wars where updates happen and stuff? Yes, but I still agree that I do think if they don't start adhering to what the community wants, they're just going to have lifeless wars. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good Foxhole. That no one wants. I don't think it's dead, but I think there is a decline coming. If the decline's here, I think it will be dead if they don't listen. Just to reiterate.
I don't have an example in my head right now, but there's probably like lots of instances where you think of something and think like, oh yeah, but it's like a shadow of what it used to be. It's like you guys in the chat, you probably have something that comes up to you guys, or like something on the regular where you think like, oh yeah, this used to be great, like stuff like that. It won't be the same thing. It's gonna be dead, but not dead, if you get what I mean.
I think to add to that
lifeless,
specific point
not dead.
is
Yeah,
I think
lifeless.
the
Lifeless, yeah.
vets are what's gonna disappear. Like I don't think Foxhole, as long as they have the opportunity to make money in this pop, that's gonna exist. But I think the issue is the vets and the more vet regiments, the larger regiments will start to lose pop. And the issue you then have is when the larger and the mid-tier regiments start disappearing at a pace. And this is something I even talked about like a week ago with other wardens, two warden commanders, is like what are the warden regiments that are currently coming into the game versus like that become like staples and notable regiments versus like I would say our wave, which was like Scum, Telly, HCNS, us, like groups that got over, let's say 1,000 players on the Discord. They can get 20 players for an op. They can do notable pushes, stuff like that. Versus what is currently now, what's coming out. And I would say like versus the last wave that's come since like the infantry update, right? Or even builder update, there's not really that many groups that we can think of, right? I can think of maybe one versus like the generation that came from naval. There was like a dozen, but maybe like five of them lived, which is all right. That's normal numbers. But now it's just like who out of airborne that was made in airborne is gonna be notable in let's say a dozen wars. I can't think of any. Maybe time will tell, but if I look at infantry, I can't think of outside, like I said, one, and that's not healthy at all for our
But
faction.
but here's the thing, Starman, right? If we think this is bad right now, then next war is gonna be even bad, even worse, right? Because a lot of the stuff that you guys like that's still left over in the game right now is stuff that has been built by people 30 days ago, right? When the
Yeah,
war started, right? So a lot of these people are done until further notice, right? So
yeah,
the next war, it's gonna be even more dead than this one. There's gonna be less stuff being built. There's gonna be less people around in general, right? Then because of the update taking fix the update, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? That's gonna take so long. It's not gonna be expected for next war. So next war is gonna be completely dead. Gonna be dead
I
war, man.
I think at least for active wars, at least for our side, I can't speak about Colonial Command. It depends on when the faction, at least for Wardens, decide it's going to be an active war. Usually, I have to update wars. It's a war or two wars, and then the faction says, "All right, we're going to go back to it." Right? That's usually
Yeah,
the repetition. It's one or
Dude,
two breaks.
but I'm gonna be honest,
Me,
past
I don't know how that's going to be in two wars.
past. I'm gonna
dude,
be honest though,
yeah.
dude. Like it's not a joke. Like, and I'm gonna say this with as much lightheartedness as I can. Collies are really tired, dude. Like, I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of
I'm
things that
tired,
are.
boss.
It's really bad. Like, and a lot of it's oversights. I don't think it's dev bias for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, put an emoji in the chat. That's us.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, dude. I really I'm tired. Like, there's a lot of shit. I'm really tired. Like, genuinely,
Yeah,
and it's the death by a thousand cuts that I keep talking about over and over. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as much as it doesn't seem significant, it's just the small shit that annoys you that makes you not want to play. Like, and it's so many things that culminate right now that are annoying, dude. Like, and
yeah,
not even like not even good balance. Like, genuine, like, what the fuck is this balance? Like,
yeah,
and I just I know it's not that particularly like big of a thing, but like the easiest one I can always talk about is the sniper one. Like, and it's I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my god, the sniper's not that fucking big of a deal, but it's really fucking annoying to keep getting one shot over and over, and you try to reciprocate the same play, and it's extremely fucking hard. Like, our sniper is
Mm-hmm.
just a fucking joke. And then you look at, like, well, just go make the fucking 20 mil one. And it's like, now I have to go have a whole fucking facility to do the same thing you're fucking doing, bro. Like, it's just shit like that. That's not like why people are losing or not, but it's stuff like that small instance. It's just every day that small fucking
No,
why do they have so much better?
but
Why is that
So,
shit?
so,
I'm
so,
willing
so,
to bet. I'm
what
willing
I
to
was,
bet. Hold on, let me just put
okay,
this real
yeah, yeah.
quick. I'm willing to bet that the devs are so out of touch with what's happening right now that next war is gonna be still like full map war enable, even though it's gonna be dead as fuck, bro.
So, what I would say specifically about this is like I do think it's a combination of quality of life and then also balance issues. I have always been someone that is support of the concerns because I don't know how it's like as a colonial to suffer at the hands of certain things. There's certain things that are so blatant, like the torp bomber, that I feel like a grand majority of players are just like, yeah, this needs to be touched in some manner and be balanced in some way, or just outright just removed, and then just something else just take the place. Like maybe our own version of the dive bomber or something. But my whole entire thing with this previously is that it also needs to be from our side too. And that's like the one point I meant also at the beginning too. Like I respect colonials having the ability to raise their concerns and let them raise their concerns. The only thing I will say towards at least warden culture right now that exists, and this is not conversation going into culture. This is more so a conversation talking about how wardens are reacting right now, as you would see on Reddit and FOD, is that a lot of wardens, I would say, are at least taking things negatively due to a lot of the concern being raised about specific items. And that may be something in reference to maybe people trying to delegitimize like the win or the effort that they put into the game versus the reality that they may have concerns themselves and they're basically being drowned out themselves. Because if I'm a warden recruit and I don't know anything about you guys are raising, but all I'm hearing is on what's it called, the Reddit, about the sniper. And if I try to raise something myself, right, and it gets 70 downvotes about going like, I can't stand the Lunaire, right, and I'm a new recruit, but it blew up my base. Then at the same time, that's also affecting them too. So my thing, I would at least ask Colonials in this moment to say or to understand is that, like, yes, you guys have concerns. Wardens also have their concerns too. And yeah, there's gonna be guys that just tell you, get the fuck over it and stuff like that, or suck it up and then just endure it. But one thing I would also say too is that there's other people that are also trying to raise their concerns. They shouldn't just be told, the exact same thing by a lot of colonials on Reddit, going like, my concern is the only thing that matters, right? Your quality of life thing, fuck you. You're concerned about, like, let's say maybe the nemesis is like too overpowered or something. Fuck you. And it's not to say like those are valid concerns. It's just saying at least I would hope from Colonials going forward, and the conversation that around the devs that happen is the response that happens from the devs is this not an outright nerf to our faction, because the biggest concern, at least I have as a warden, is if our faction takes too much of a hit and it gets to a point in which, like, you guys are saying your experiences, which is just like an uphill battle and you don't want to play, if that happens to our faction too, then it's just going to be the inverse, right? And it's going to be like, suck it up, wardens, right? Now we're winning. So my whole entire thing is I'm hoping at least there can be agreements on the quality of life, which I think everybody can. But on the balances, there can be, like we had today, open conversations about items. And you guys heard me about some of my concerns. You might not agree with them,
Yeah.
but you heard them. And you might understand why, as I like an OP lead or someone in naval, might have an issue with this naval object, or someone might say, I fucking hate the colonial fighter because of this reason. That's my point, at least.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing, bro. It's really that's a reason there's three reasons I made the podcast. One, there was no one doing podcast because it was kind of a dead space, and I thought I could fill it, get some followers. Not gonna lie, that was first incentive. Two, I gotta be real. I gotta be me. I gotta be funny. Two, I actually really wanted to have a good space for people to come up and talk about concerns and maybe be the
That's
olive
not
branch
Reddit.
that's not
Or
Reddit and
thought.
have an olive branch to the devs. And the third thing, and I even said that in the message today to the dev, was I really want to have a developer on my podcast. And, I'm not telling you guys to go spam them. Please don't do that. But I really I want to have a dev on the podcast. I want to pick their brain. I really want to understand them more. And because even something I said to them
Just
in the
some
message
basic
today.
answers, man.
Well,
Like
and
some
just
basic communication.
there's so many things that I want to put to rest in
Yeah.
that podcast, dude. Like the biggest one that I want to put to rest is like, and this will be the last one, which might even get them pissed, and I don't even know if they'd come on. But I want one of them to be like, "There's no dev bias, dude. You guys are fucking nuts. We love both." Like
Mm.
in fucking like visual
Oh, but this one's my favorite. Nah, this one's my favorite.
like
If you guys remember the clip.
and so my whole thing is, bro, like I want to put to rest some of these things and accusations, and the other thing is I want to treat them like people, because here's something that kind of pisses me off about the Foxhole community: you guys don't treat them like people. They're humans too. They're going to get Chick-fil-A, they're going to get fucking their hair done and shit. That was funny. They're Canadians. Okay, kind of. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Canadians
I
are
mean,
awesome.
true. True, there's a good point, chat.
No, but seriously though, they're people too, right? And they have
Mm.
thoughts, and it's their game, and we all love their game. And I don't want to impose too much of our will into their idea, because we all bought the game because of their vision. Their vision is a very good vision, and we all like it. I just want to be a part of it, and I want to have a say in it because I love it so much, and I want to help them make it better in my small little fucking way. But you know, at the end of the day, I think this is a really good podcast, and it was actually pretty wholehearted. You know, and this is the type of
That
shit.
was a good podcast. Yeah.
This is the type of shit, boys, that I really think the community needs right now. And shameless plug, share this with people. It's not fucking over, boys. Because if we're not done with the game, it's not over. You know what I'm saying? We are the life of the game. I'll say it earlier and I'll say it again.
The Joe Rogan of Foxhole.
Mhm.
Someone get that man a medal. No, that's awesome. Thank you. But no, seriously though, we're the life of the game, boys. And as long as we're not done with the game and give up on it, it's not gonna die. The devs got to work with us. We got to work with the devs too. You know, we got to stop being pieces of shit and FOD and Reddit. And we're kind of, this isn't me trying to be all hunky dory, lovey, you know, and I know that someday, you know, at the end of every one of those movies, whatever. This isn't a whole, you know, lovey dovey moment.
The podcast musical.
Yeah, but
The devs.
fuck me, dude. We got to do our part too. You know what I mean? We can be better in Foxhole, Reddit, and shit. We cannot be pieces of shit. We can be better. And I think that I think it can change, boys. I really have high hopes for Foxhole, and I want to thank you guys, Past and Cockface, for coming on the podcast with me this week. Chat. I mean, we had like 52 people in here. That's fucking awesome. That's more than fucking Able server right now. You know, that's fucking awesome, guys. And seriously, I want to say thank you to all you guys coming out and everyone watching on YouTube. Please write in the comments some ideas and stuff that you have in there. Reach out if you guys want to get on the podcast. I'll put the Discord in the links. And yeah, guys, we'll wrap it up there. If there's any ending comments, Cockface or Past.
But let
Yeah.
Starman go first.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I would at least say, from a warden, especially my perspective, is that I would at least like a lot of colonials to know that a good chunk of wardens want colonials to be competitive. They want them to fight. They want us to make a struggle because my most enjoyment that I've had in Foxhole is when I've been at like the most struggled points, like where we've been pushed back to bone half or something like that, and then you overcome those odds and you get those big dubs. Uh, I would say for as an OP lead, as someone that does logistics or something like that, overcoming those things is what a lot of players come into Foxhole to do. And when they achieve those moments, it is, I don't know how to say, it's almost adrenaline rushing. So for a lot of people, it doesn't matter who you think they are part of the Warden faction, our High Command, our Secret High Command, the Secret V, or our Warden Alliance or Warden Unity Hub, our Schizo posters, whatever. Everybody across the board, a great chunk of players will want Colonials to be competitive and they want you guys to put in your best effort so that when we put in our best effort is not for nothing. We
We
want
have an
good
awesome fucking game, dude. Yeah.
we want a good competition so that we can actually enjoy it because there's no fun at the end of the day to fight someone that's just not going to be there. This war is not fun. We
All right.
like last war and previous update wars, when everybody's fighting, yeah. But that's the main point.
I think, for those who follow me on Twitch, they will know that I always say I don't care about winning or losing, and I just want to have fun. I just want to have a proper fight, just like Starman said, right? And that's, I think, a beautiful thing that colleagues and wardens can agree on. And what I want to say is difficult to put into words, but Berg did touch on it, which, these guys are too young to have known it. Again, I'm too old for this game, right? But this used to be a time where we
All
had
right,
events. People laughed. People laughed together. People did amazing things together, right? It was not the cancer shithole you see on Reddit and stuff like that. I just want us to keep having those moments where people generally have a good fucking time together and we have a good fucking proper fight and we actually like the game. We are passionate about the game, all of us here. That's why we're here, right? And to this extent, right, in case the game dies, or just as a reminder to everyone who's watching here, how things used to be and can be still with you guys helping make it be that way. I posted a link right now in the chat, boys. This is a compilation of 7 years of history, a 3-minute video of 7 years of history in the game. Like Big Bird said earlier, it's my high school photo album, right? If you guys want to see what Foxhole can be and what you guys can make it be, then please go check out that link. All right. And thank you guys very much for being here on this podcast. Thank you guys for listening, guys.
So my ending notes here, little shit talk right at the end because I thought it was funny. Robert's video, he posted a video and I found 3 vetted outlaws, and I just I want to talk a little shit to Past. They are real. It wasn't my imagination,
Oh
Past.
my!
I sent you a picture of it. Anyway, guys.
It
was just a little shit talk. I sent you a picture of it. But anyway, I'm going to end it and then we can fuck around later. But anyway, thank you guys so much. We will be going again on May 8th. We'll have, as of right now, we're going to have Gremblo and I Saw a Bear. I'm looking for a 4th right now. We're talking to a few people. But make sure you guys come check out that. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. Share that shit. Please, I'm trying to get this podcast big. If we want a dev on here, we got to promote this shit. Thank you guys so much, and we'll end it there. Peace out.